Universal wanted a Peterbilt. Jerry Reed couldn't drive the truck, and Burt Reynolds was behind the wheel more than the actual Snowman. These are 20 weird facts about the Snowman's 1974 Kenworth W900 from Smokey and the Bandit. Let's drop the hammer. Fact 20. They never got permission. From Kenworth, Universal Pictures used Kenworth trucks throughout the film, made the W900s iconic, boosted Kenworth's sales by 50%, created a cultural phenomenon that benefits the company to this day. They never got official permission. Kenworth refused to participate, said no multiple times. The company thought the film glorified illegal activity, bootlegging, running from cops. They didn't want their brand associated with criminals. Universal used their trucks anyway, bought 4 W900s through dealers. No factory involvement, no official approval, just cash transactions. Kenworth could have sued. The trucks are prominently featured. The logo is visible. Strong product placement without permission. But the film was making them rich. Sales exploding. The W900 everywhere. Free advertising worth tens of millions. So they did nothing. By the early 80s, Kenworth embraced it fully, featured the W900 in heritage marketing, referenced the film in commercials. Universal never paid Kenworth $1. The greatest product placement deal ever made, because it wasn't a deal at all. Fact 19. All 4 original trucks survived.
That's a beauty. Oh. I had to start it up. At least you got to hear it.
Most movie vehicles get destroyed, scrapped, parted out, lost, but all 4. Smokey and the Bandit Kenworth survived, every single one. The hero truck sold immediately after filming. A collector in Texas bought it, changed hands multiple times, each sale for more money, currently owned by a private collector in the Midwest, worth over $200,000. The primary stunt truck ended up in Oregon. A trucking company bought it, used it for actual work for 15 years. Nobody knew its history. Then someone recognized it. Now it's restored and owned by a collector in Florida. The second stunt truck went to Canada, a show truck now, perfectly restored. The parts truck seemed lost for decades, stripped, abandoned in a Georgia junkyard. A collector found it in 2005, spent 5 years rebuilding it. 4 trucks, all survived, all accounted for, all treasured. That's remarkable in Hollywood history. Fact 18. The gear shifting was completely wrong.
Biggest game of chicken, boys! Shit!
Professional truckers hate the gear shifting in this film. The W900 came with an 18-speed transmission, 9 gears with a high-low range selector and splitter. The film shows constant shifting. Every scene, someone's moving the stick. Up, down, like they're shifting through 20 gears per mile. Ridiculous. An 18-speed doesn't work like that. The audio doesn't match either. The sound of the transmission engaging doesn't sync with the shifting motion. The worst scene shows Snowman, downshifting 6 times in 3 seconds. Physically impossible. You destroy the transmission. And nobody's using the clutch correctly. An 18-speed requires double clutching. The film shows single clutch shifts. That would grind gears immediately. Needham knew it was wrong, but filming accurate shifting would be boring, too slow. So they faked it, made it look dynamic. Real truckers still complain in YouTube comments, but accurate transmission operation would have put audiences to sleep. Fact 17. Jackie Gleason destroyed one during filming.
Turn on this next dirt road, then you're...
Jackie Gleason played Sheriff Buford T. Justice. He was famous for method acting, staying in character, living the role. It made him brilliant. It also made him dangerous. During one stunt sequence, Gleason was driving his sheriff car, chasing the Trans Am. The script called for him to spin out and miss the Kenworth parked on the shoulder. Simple stunt. Gleason improvised, decided Sheriff Justice would deliberately ram the truck. Didn't tell anyone, just jerked the wheel and slammed into one of the stunt Kenworths. Full speed, the impact totaled the truck, crumpled the sheriff car's front end, shattered the Kenworth's fuel tank. Diesel fuel everywhere. The crew panicked. The Kenworth was destroyed. Frame bent, fuel system ruined, rear axle twisted. Needham was furious. That was their third stunt truck. Cost them a $25,000 vehicle. Gleason didn't apologize. Said it looked better his way. More authentic. The scene did play better, but it cost a fortune. Insurance covered some of it. The production ate the loss. Fact 16. It made Kenworth. A household name. Before Smokey and the Bandit, most Americans couldn't identify truck brands. A truck was a truck. Kenworth was unknown to everyone except truckers. The film changed that overnight. Suddenly, everyone knew Kenworth. The black and gold W900 became the iconic American truck. Sales exploded. In 1976, Kenworth sold about 12,000 trucks. In 1978, after the film, they sold over 18,000. 50% increase. The W900 model specifically became impossible to get. Everyone wanted the Snowman's truck. Kenworth ramped up 900 production. Aftermarket suppliers made fortunes. Everyone wanted to replicate the paint scheme. Companies offered Smokey and the Bandit kits. Thousands of truckers copied it. Black and gold, Kenworth W9. Hundreds were everywhere. Kenworth's competitors suffered. Peterbilt sales dropped. The film crowned Kenworth as king of American trucks. Not through performance, through cool, through cultural cachet. The impact lasted decades. Even now, the W900 is Kenworth's heritage model, still in production, still selling. Nobody wants Kenworth to change it. Fact 15. The air horn cost $3,000.
We'll bring it back no matter what it takes. He's found again.
The Snowman's Kenworth needed a horn that made a statement. Needham hired Nathan Manufacturing to build a custom 5-chime horn. The same horns used on locomotives, air-powered, multiple tones. The Nathan Airshim K5OLA, 5 separate trumpets, 5 distinct notes. Hit them together and you get this harmonic chord that carries for miles. Installing it required modifications. The stock air tanks weren't large enough. They added supplemental tanks, ran new air lines, mounted the trumpets on custom brackets above the cab. Installation took 3 days. The horn cost $3,000 in 1976 dollars. That's about $15,000 today. For a horn, the studio accountants questioned it. Needham insisted. He wanted the real sound. Every time the Kenworth sounds its horn in the film, audiences feel it, that deep harmonic blast. It became as iconic as the truck itself. The other 3 trucks got cheaper standard air horns. After filming, the horn stayed with the hero truck. Still works, still sounds exactly like the movie. Worth $10,000 or more to collectors now. Fact 14. That's not a real sleeper cab. The exterior shots show the Kenworth with a large sleeper cab behind the driver's compartment, that distinctive W900 profile. But the film truck's sleeper isn't real. The production removed most of the interior sleeper berth for camera equipment and lighting. They kept the outer shell, the shape, the windows, but inside, gutted. The scenes showing Snowman in the sleeper were shot on a soundstage. They built a replica sleeper compartment with removable walls for cameras. It was never in the truck. You can see continuity errors if you watch closely. The sleeper windows and exterior shots are dark, empty. The interior scenes show bright lighting and detailed set dressing. They don't match. Why gut the sleeper? Weight and access. A full sleeper adds weight and blocks modifications. The stunt trucks kept their sleepers for proper weight distribution. But the hero truck? Fake sleeper. Real exterior. Empty interior. After filming, restoring the sleeper was expensive. The restoration team had to source a period-correct W900 sleeper and install it properly. Fact 13. The Snowman character saved the film.
Snowman, you got your ears on?
You lucky devil, you got him. Where the hell are you?
Fill her up, Hoss. Come on, Frederick. My boy, my boy.
The original script focused entirely on Bandit. The trucker was a minor character, a plot device, someone to transport beer while Bandit handled the glamorous work. Test audiences hated it. They didn't care about Bandit alone. The car chases were exciting, but empty. No emotional anchor. Needham and James Lee Barrett expanded the trucker character, gave him personality, made him Bandit's best friend, created the CB banter. When Jerry Reed auditioned, he improvised trucker dialogue and character, talked like he was on CB radio. He embodied the role immediately. Reed brought his dog, Fred, asked if Snowman could have a dog. Needham loved it. The second round of test screenings changed everything. Audiences loved Snowman, loved his relationship with Bandit, loved the CB conversations, loved Fred. Snowman became the heart of the film. Bandit was the Flash. Snowman was the soul. Universal wanted to change the title to Bandit and Snowman. Needham refused but reshoot scenes, added more Snowman footage. Without those changes, this would have been a forgettable chase movie. Fact 12. They stole the idea from real bootleggers. The concept wasn't invented for the movie. It was based on actual bootlegging operations. Coors beer really was illegal east of the Mississippi until 1976. State distribution laws prevented shipping, but people wanted it. Professional bootleggers filled that demand. They'd buy Coors legally in Texas or Colorado, load it into trailers, haul it to Georgia, Alabama, Florida, sell it at triple the price. And they used Kenworth W900 specifically, because Kenworths had the power to outrun police, the durability for long-distance runs, the look that wouldn't attract attention. The Bandit's role existed too: muscle cars running interference, spotting police, drawing attention away from trucks. Bootleggers hired guys with fast cars to scout ahead. Everything in the movie had a basis in reality. Hal Needham heard these stories from real truckers during his stunt career. He absorbed it all and turned it into a script. The FBI investigated whether the film would encourage real bootlegging. After release, Coors bootlegging stopped because Coors went national in 1977. Legal everywhere. Fact 11. The elephant scene almost destroyed it.
Well, now that you've got a hold of Charlotte.
I don't have all of Charlotte. Charlotte's got a hold of me. Charlotte, turn around. Turn around. Come on, turn around. Turn around, babe.
The script called for Snowman to stop at a circus truck. An elephant is loose. Comic mayhem. Simple on paper. In practice, working with a 4-ton elephant next to an expensive movie truck was terrifying. They hired an elephant from a local circus. Trained animal, professional handlers. Everyone assured Needham it would be safe. They were wrong. The elephant didn't like the truck. The engine noise scared it. Every time they fired up the Kenworth, the elephant became agitated. So they turned off the engine, shot the scene with the truck stationary. The elephant walked around the truck, did everything it was supposed to do. One take. Perfect. Then the elephant pushed against the trailer, hard. The whole trailer rocked. The crew scattered, but the elephant pushed again, denting the aluminum panel, creating a huge bulge in the side. They got the elephant away. The trailer panel was destroyed, had to be replaced. Cost $3,000 plus another shooting day. Needham wanted to cut the scene. Too dangerous. But test audiences loved it. 1 minute of screen time that cost $15,000 total. Fact 10. It cost more than the Trans Am.
Let it all hang out, cause we gotta run the big. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta. Shit!
The Trans Am is the star car. Pontiac provided 4 Trans Ams for production. Each one cost Pontiac around $4,500. They gave them to the production for free. Product placement. The Kenworth W9. 100 trucks cost $18,000 each. 4 trucks, $72,000 total, out of pocket, no sponsorship. Kenworth wouldn't cooperate, so the production paid full price. Then there were modifications: engine work, paint, interior gutting, reinforced frames, custom exhaust, chrome. Each truck got another $10,000 to $15,000 in modifications. Total investment? Over $120,000 for the Kenworths. The Trans Ams? Pontiac covered everything. The production spent maybe $5,000 on modifications across all 4 cars. So, the movie famous for the Trans Am actually spent more on the Kenworth. But nobody remembers it that way. Everyone wants the Bandit's car. When collectors started buying vehicles, the Trans Am sold for hundreds of thousands. One went for over $1 million. The Kenworths, $50,000 to $100,000. The truck that costs more is worth less, because everyone wants to be the Bandit. Fact 9. The interior was gutted.
Sound deadening material in the insulation, and then we've also, of course, got to do the floor. So there's a lot of work that needs doing in the cab.
The cab of a 1974 Kenworth W900 is spacious. Room for the driver's seat, passenger seat, sleeper berth, storage. The film truck's interior was nothing like that. The entire cab was gutted and rebuilt for camera equipment. They removed the passenger seat completely, pulled out the sleeper berth, stripped door panels, eliminated anything that blocked camera angles. They installed camera mounts on the dashboard, doors, and ceiling. The driver's seat was modified too, lowered by 3 inches so Reed would fit in the frame better. The steering wheel was replaced with a smaller one so cameras could shoot past it. The CB radio was moved to somewhere more visible. Nothing was where it should be. Reed couldn't actually reach the pedals from the modified seat. Didn't matter since he wasn't driving anyway. The sleeper berth that appears in shots, a separate set piece built on a soundstage. After filming, the Hero truck's interior had to be completely rebuilt for normal use. New seats, restored sleeper. All interior panels were replaced. The truck was so modified, it wasn't functional anymore. Converting it back cost thousands. Fact 8. The trailer was empty.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.
Well, here now, they have put on quite a show for us today, have friends. Yes, sir.
The entire plot revolves around transporting 400 cases of Coors beer, thousands of pounds of contraband beer. The trailer is completely empty, not a single case, nothing. Just a hollow 53-foot box. Because loaded trailers handle differently, they're harder to maneuver, more dangerous for stunts. They cost more to insure. Needham's team calculated that loading the trailer properly would add 26,000 pounds. That weight would slow the truck, limit stunts, make jumps impossible. So they kept it empty and painted Coors on the side. The one scene showing the interior, shot separately with fake beer, boxes filled with foam. That footage appears once. Professional truckers notice immediately. The truck accelerates too fast. The handling is too responsive. The physics are all wrong, especially the scene where the Kenworth jumps a collapsed bridge. The trailer lifts off, lands smoothly, continues without damage. With 26,000 pounds inside, the trailer axles would have shattered, the landing gear would have collapsed, the entire unit would have been jackknifed. But audiences don't know better. The painted logo sells the illusion. The dialogue reinforces it. Fact 7. Burt Reynolds drove it more than Reed. Burt Reynolds was a car guy. He wanted to drive everything, including the Kenworth. And since Reed couldn't actually drive the truck, Reynolds ended up behind the wheel more often than the man playing Snowman. For every scene where Bandit and Snowman traveled together, they needed shots of both vehicles. The Trans Am overtaking, the Kenworth in frame, both driving in formation. Reynolds would drive the Trans Am for his close-ups. Then he'd switch to the Kenworth while a stunt driver took the Trans Am. This way they could get angles showing both vehicles without process photography. Except one of those stars wasn't Reed. It was Reynolds in a snowman costume, fake beard, trucker hat, flannel shirt. sitting in the Kenworth driving alongside the Trans Am he was supposed to be inside. The long shots made it work. You couldn't see his face clearly. For scenes where the Kenworth follows at high speed, Reynolds driving the truck. Anytime they needed precision driving with both vehicles, Reynolds drove one, usually the truck. Reynolds loved it, bragged about getting truck driving practice. The real trucker in the cast was the Hollywood star. Fact 6. The paint job changed mid-film. Watch the Kenworth closely throughout the film. The striping pattern changes, the gold pinstripes run in different directions. Some shots show more gold, some show more black. The inconsistency is obvious once you notice. It's because they're using multiple trucks, and the paint jobs weren't identical. The production rushed to get 4 trucks ready. 4 different body shops did the work simultaneously. They had photos to match, color samples, measurements, but hand-painted pinstripes are never exactly the same. The Hero truck has the cleanest lines, professional detailing, perfect symmetry. This is the truck for close-ups and glamour shots. The stunt trucks? Close enough. The patterns are similar, the colors match, but the stripes are wider in some shots, narrower in others. The gold doesn't extend as far. Continuity editors noticed during post-production. Too late to fix. They'd already spent the paint budget. The trucks were sold. Reshoots were impossible. Now with high-definition transfers, the differences are glaring. YouTube videos point out every inconsistency. The 4 Kenworths have been identified and cataloged. But that means the most accurate restoration is actually less accurate to what appeared on screen, because on screen, the paint kept changing. Fact 5. That CB radio was dead.
You got him, you lucky devil. Snowman, you got your ears on, son.
Every scene with Snowman talking on the CB, every conversation with Bandit, every interaction with other truckers, none of it was recorded live. The CB radio in the truck was completely non-functional, just a prop, a shell. No electronics inside. The production couldn't get clean audio with a working CB. Too much interference. Engine noise, road noise, wind. So they pulled the guts out and had Reed hold a dead microphone while pretending to talk. All the CB dialogue was recorded later in ADR sessions. Reed in a sound booth, Sally Field in another, Burt Reynolds in another. Each actor recorded separately. Then the sound team mixed it together with CB static and effects. The other trucker voices, all voiced by crew members in post-production, recorded months after filming ended. None of those people were actually on set. Even the CB itself is wrong. The radio shown is a Cobra 29, but the sound effects are from a different model. CB enthusiasts can identify 3 different radio models based on sound effects alone, but it works. Audiences don't notice. The real irony? CB radios were at peak popularity when the film was released. Millions bought CBs because of conversations entirely fabricated in a studio. Fact 4. The engine swap. Nobody noticed.
And went back in with a new Big Cam 2 400.
The Kenworth W900 comes from the factory with a Cummins NTC 350 engine, 350 horsepower, plenty for a working truck, but not enough for Hollywood. Needham's team pulled the factory engine from the Hero truck and installed a modified Cummins producing over 500 horsepower, upgraded turbocharger, custom exhaust, retuned fuel injection. This engine could push the truck to speeds no production, W9, 100 should reach. The sound is wrong too. The stock Cummins doesn't sound cinematic enough, so they recorded a different engine for post-production. They used sound from a Detroit diesel, then layered in dragster engine sounds. The result sounds nothing like an actual Cummins NTC 350. Real truckers notice immediately. The engine note is wrong. The shifting pattern doesn't match the power delivery. The acceleration is impossible for that truck and load combination. The other 3 trucks kept their stock engines. Only the Hero truck got serious modifications. And those modifications made it undrivable for normal use. Too much power, too aggressive. After filming, the new owner had to detune the engine just to make it legal. But for 2 months of filming, that Kenworth was the fastest, loudest, most powerful big rig in America. Fact 3. 4 identical trucks.
Look at that grill. Oh, big old greasy Detroit. And then if you have the brakes applied on the trailer, you can either go forward or back and move the fifth wheel forward or back on the truck.
The production didn't buy one Kenworth. They bought 4, all identical, all black and gold, all 1974 W900s. Because Needham knew they'd destroy at least 2. The hero truck was the primary vehicle, used for close-ups and dialogue scenes, kept pristine, detailed constantly. This truck appears in 90% of stationary shots. The second truck was the action vehicle, reinforced frame, modified suspension, used for stunts that might damage but not destroy it. The third truck was the destruction vehicle, built to be wrecked. They planned to use it for a climax crash scene that got cut. The fourth truck was the parts truck, stripped for spare components, doors, fenders, chrome, lights. Anything that broke on other trucks got replaced with parts from this one. By the end of production, the fourth truck was a skeleton, but all 4 trucks survive. Even the parts truck got rebuilt after filming. Needham's team sold 3 to private collectors. The hero truck stayed with the production company, eventually ending up in private collections, changing hands every few years, each owner paying more. The second truck became a show truck, now worth over $100,000, 10 times what production paid. Fact 2. Jerry Reed couldn't drive it.
10-4, I'm bringing it, son, I'm bringing it. I'm clear.
Jerry Reed is a country music superstar, a songwriter, a guitarist. What he's not is a licensed truck driver. He's never driven an 18-wheeler in his life. He doesn't have a CDL, doesn't know how to shift an 18-speed transmission, can't back up a 53-foot trailer. He can barely drive a car with manual transmission. Needham casts him anyway, because Reed has the personality, the authenticity. He sounds like a trucker even if he can't drive like one. So, they hire stunt drivers to do everything. Reed sits in the cab for dialogue scenes, waves at cameras, talks on the CB. But the moment the truck moves, it's not Reed. The wide shots rolling down highways, stunt driver, the shots through the windshield showing hands on the wheel, stunt driver's hands. Reed literally never drives the truck, except when it's parked with the engine off. But Reed commits to the performance. He spends weeks riding with professional truckers, learning the culture, the language. He absorbs everything. So even though he can't drive, he looks like he can. The production uses camera tricks, close-ups inside the cab, cut to exterior shots with stunt drivers. They never show his feet on the pedals. The editing sells the illusion. Real truckers never question it. Fact 1. The truck that almost wasn't universal doesn't want a Kenworth.
Come on, boy.
They want a Peterbilt. The executives think Peterbilt looks more iconic, more trucker, more American. Director Hal Needham disagrees. He wants a Kenworth W900 with the long nose and classic lines. The studio fights him. Needham threatens to walk. Universal backs down. But there's another problem. Kenworth doesn't want to participate. The company thinks the film glorifies illegal activity. Bootlegging beer, running from cops, breaking traffic laws. They don't want their trucks associated with criminals, even fictional ones. Needham's team approaches them anyway. Explain the film is a comedy, a love letter to truckers and American freedom. Kenworth still refuses, so the production buys the trucks independently through dealers. No factory involvement, no official approval, just cash transactions for 4 W900s. The trucks cost $18,000 each, $72,000 total, a massive portion of the vehicle budget, more than they spent on all the trans. AMs combined. Studio accountants are furious. Needham insists. The Kenworth is the second star. He's right. The moment audiences see that black and gold Kenworth, they know this truck means business, a character, the Snowman's partner, everything that matters rolling down the highway. Bonus fact, the sequel truck was a disaster.
And he's working on the trailer, but it is pretty sweet. Needs some love, obviously, but don't they all?
You'd think they'd use the same trucks for Smokey and the Bandit too. Bring back the hero Kenworth. Universal had different plans. The sequel used different trucks. New Kenworth W900s, fresh from the factory, different paint scheme, modified differently. Test audiences hated it. They complained that Snowman's truck looked wrong. The proportions were different. Colors weren't right. Universal panicked. Started reshooting truck scenes. Too late. The sequel had bigger problems. Weak script, tired plot. The magic was gone. Changing the Kenworth highlighted that Universal didn't understand what made the original work. The sequel trucks were sold off quickly. No collector demand, no cultural cachet, just Kenworths that happened to be in a mediocre sequel. The original trucks remained valuable. By Smokey and the Bandit Part 3, they didn't even try. Different truck entirely. Jackie Gleason in the lead. The franchise had lost its way. The lesson? You can't recapture magic by changing the details. The original trucks were lightning in a bottle. Everything after was just thunder with no flash. Universal wanted a Peterbilt, but got a Kenworth. Jerry Reed couldn't drive it. Burt Reynolds drove it more than the Snowman. The trailer was empty. The sleeper was fake. Kenworth never gave permission for any of it. The truck that cost more than the Trans Am. The horn that cost $3,000. Jackie Gleason ramming a Kenworth in character. 4 trucks pretending to be one, all with different paint, all surviving to this day worth fortunes. The accidental product placement that made Kenworth a household name and boosted sales by 50%. The gutted interior, the fake CB radio, the gear shifting that made real truckers cringe, and that elephant that almost destroyed everything. The Snowman's truck wasn't just transportation. It was a character, soul, the heart of the film. Without that black and gold Kenworth, Smokey and the Bandit is just car chases. With it, the film becomes brotherhood and loyalty. The American dream on 18 wheels. If you enjoyed these weird facts, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into movie vehicles and Hollywood history. Drop a comment telling me which facts surprised you most, and keep on truckin'.